Are you implying that I am to blame for this? Do you really believe that you, my subordinate, can respond to me? Karen had recently been promoted to our manager and was the only woman in a department full of computer nerds. However, Karen never made an effort to comprehend our true actions. She simply kept making irrational demands of us. I couldn't contain myself any longer and spoke up as the toxic and heavy mood in the office increased. Karen, would you at least consider what we have to say? You're so obnoxious, ugh. You have been dismissed. What? Karen answered in a weary, indifferent voice. Anyone who disregards my advice is worthless and will be let go. To be honest, I haven't liked you since I was moved here. You are my subordinate, so get that straight. You obey my commands and are nothing more than a slave. Karen, this is completely inappropriate. What on earth is the matter with this? Are you totally irreplaceable? Please, there are plenty of people who are capable of replacing you. I won't waste business funds on a worthless person like you. Make sure you tidy up and don't leave any evidence behind. Karen had lost all self-control. Enough is enough. All right. I went back to my desk without saying anything further since I was too astonished to even argue back. Clearly concerned about me, my coworkers gathered around. I decided to put a strategy into action at that point. Dude, I have a favor to ask of you. Thus started the largest endeavor of our lives, one that would ultimately test our sense of pride. Stephen is my name. I first became interested in programming in elementary school. I was often getting sick as a child. Because I missed so many classes, they even dubbed me Sickly Stephen at school. My peers seldom ever invited me to play since they knew how weak I was. I therefore stayed at home by myself most of the time. In addition, my mother never let me to play outside or run about since she was constantly concerned about my health. "You'll catch another cold," was her catchphrase. Simply remain indoors and take it easy. She got me all the newest technology instead, including game consoles, tablets, and PCs. I initially merely played the games that were provided to me. But as time went on, I began to consider creating games like this myself. I began learning how to program at that point. I was getting stronger by the time I started middle school and rarely became ill. I could already create basic games at that stage, and I would ask people who like programming or games to test them out and provide comments. I was never well liked by the girls, of course. I didn't have any special memories of them. So I took my parents' advice and went to an all-boys high school. I became a member of the computer activity team there. I was fortunate to make pals who shared my interests in gaming and programming. We had acquired enough technical know-how by high school to construct and program our own combat robots and even create practical applications. Wow, that's strange. What's the matter, Henry? My computer is behaving oddly. When I arrived at the team one day after school as usual, Henry was already there, looking puzzledly at his screen. The mouse is moving on its own, and weird commands keep typing in by themselves. Wait, seriously? That sounds bad. What do I do? I leaned in to look at his screen, and sure enough, the mouse was moving by itself. Lines of code were flooding the black screen at lightning speed. The mouse moved as if possessed. Even when we tried to force it to shut down, it ignored all our commands. What the hell is going on? This looks like it's a hack. Someone's taken over your computer and is stealing your data. No way. That computer has the program we were going to use for the upcoming robot competition. This is a school computer too. Our personal information is stored on it. Why? Why is this happening? What about your security measures? I've done all the basics properly. What the heck is this? Our teammates, who had been working a few seats away, noticed the commotion and came over, but none of us had any idea how to deal with what was happening. We tried everything we could think of, but Henry's computer kept operating on its own, completely ignoring our efforts. Then a message suddenly popped up in the center of the screen. "I've taken the data from this computer. Too bad for you." We were completely helpless against whoever this hacker was. After being targeted, Henry became deeply discouraged and began skipping team activities. He wasn't the only one. Some of the others who had witnessed the hacking were so shaken, they became afraid to even touch a computer. And our already small team lost even more members. So this is what happens. No matter how amazing your program is, it's useless if your security is weak. Then I'll just have to create a system that no one can break into. Until then, I thought it was cool to write complex code and build programs no one else could imagine. But this experience made me realize just how important cybersecurity truly is. If that's the case, I'll just have to build a bulletproof security system myself. In our now nearly empty team's room, I started spending my days and nights developing a security program. Even after the final bell rang, I would stay glued to the computer and the faculty advisor would shake his head in disbelief. I worked to patch the weaknesses in existing security systems and built a program that could fully block external attacks like the one we had faced. Are you sure this is safe? I'm telling you, it's totally solid. If you're worried, go ahead and try to hack it. I called out to Henry, who had been feeling down, and let him test the strength of the software I'd created. Henry tried one method after another to break in, but every single attempt was blocked by the security system I built. This is incredible. I can't get past it at all. See? Now you can use your computer without worry. Yeah, I've been afraid to use one since all that happened. But with this, I feel safe. Steven, you're amazing. Hey, told you. I think this was the best software I had ever developed. I couldn't help but feel proud. The other team members also challenged my software, but none of them even came close to cracking it. One by one, they all threw in the towel. Then they all said things like, Steven, you're seriously amazing. Now I can really focus on team projects again. Thanks so much, Steven. Seeing how happy they were with something I created made me genuinely happy too. Later, I went on to study computer science at university. I finally had the chance to formally learn what I had taught myself all these years. After graduating, I joined a subsidiary of a major IT company. My job is to develop software tailored to clients' needs. Unlike creating whatever I wanted on my own time, this work involves meeting customer expectations and deadlines, which can be tough. But I find real fulfillment in doing what I love and what I'm good at. All of my coworkers are also passionate about programming, and we have a great time sharing ideas and working together. A few years into this job, just as I had fully gotten into the rhythm of things, we had a staff reshuffle to start the new fiscal year. Karen, the new manager assigned to our department, was so beautiful that any man would instinctively turn to look at her at least once. My name is Karen. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. She was in her late 20s. Her long, soft brown hair swayed over her shoulders, and she wore a perfectly tailored suit. Her large dangling earrings caught the light, and I couldn't help but stare. I've heard this department has some of the top talent in the company. I have high expectations for all of you. And when she looked at me with those big, bright eyes, it made my heart race loud enough to hear. After all, our department was so focused on tech development that people used to joke, your only girlfriend is your computer. I've never worked with a woman before. Can she really handle the kind of stuff we do here? Who knows? There aren't many women in this field to begin with. The guys felt a little unsure about working with her at first, but still, they couldn't help saying things like, but man, Karen is really beautiful. She doesn't seem like someone who belongs in a department like ours. Just talking to her makes me nervous. And we're lucky to be working with someone that gorgeous. They were honestly thrilled to have someone so out of our league working with us. With such a beautiful woman as our boss, I thought, I'm going to work hard so I don't let her down. Looking back, we were all just giddy and caught up in the excitement. A few days into working with our new manager, we started to realize something. It seemed like she didn't know anything about this industry at all. This client wants it specified in Perl, but that's going to be tough to implement. Yeah, with this spec, I'd rather use Ruby. Hey, you two, stop chatting about jewelry and get back to work. Not like either of you have a girlfriend to give pearls or rubies to anyway. She didn't even recognize basic programming languages, let alone understand the fundamental structure of code. Talking with her was like having two completely separate conversations. On top of that, she was constantly away from her desk during work hours, causing a backlog of documents that needed her approval. And since we couldn't move forward without her signature, everything started to grind to a halt. Finally, when I caught her returning to her desk, I said, Karen, could you please approve the spec change request for Company A? But all I got was, I don't know anything about that. I handed it to you 3 days ago and also sent an email. I tried to reason with her, but she snapped back. I said I don't know, didn't I? I'm busy. And if I didn't review and approve it 3 days ago, that means it wasn't worth approving. More importantly, she continued, how can you even show up to work wearing that wrinkled shirt? And look at that unkempt hair. Honestly, I was told this department was full of elite talent, but all I see are sloppy, unfashionable men. What a letdown. And you couldn't even bring me a cup of coffee. You're useless as a man. Karen let out an exaggerated sigh, clearly annoyed. Then she sat back down, spinning a strand of hair around her finger with one hand, while endlessly scrolling through her phone. She made no move to actually do any work. Getting scolded by someone so attractive made me feel like I was the one at fault, even when I wasn't. And no matter how frustrated I got, she was still my boss, and a woman, which made it hard to push back. I had never had to stress about things like this before, but now I found myself constantly on edge. That day, unable to finish my piled-up tasks, I stayed behind alone to keep working. "Excuse me, you're the only one still working at this hour." "Sorry, I just had some things I absolutely needed to finish." "Absolutely, huh? Then all the more reason to finish it during work hours. You probably didn't even start until after hours just to rack up some overtime pay." Pathetic. What a sorry excuse for a man. You're just wasting company money. Even the electricity is a waste. Click. A harsh sound echoed. My monitor suddenly went black. "Wait, what are you?" "I told you it's a waste. From now on, no overtime unless I personally approve it." Karen held up the unplugged power cord like a trophy, smiling in triumph. "Wait, Karen, this is going too far. Don't you even care why I was staying late?" "Oh, shut up. I'm not interested in hearing a loser whine. Just go home. Even the electricity used while you get your things together is a waste." "You've got to be kidding me." But I didn't even have the energy to argue. I let out a long sigh and reluctantly left the office. The next morning, I got to the office earlier than anyone else to recover the work I had lost the night before. Thankfully, the auto backup had saved part of it. It took some effort, but I managed to restore everything just before the others arrived. I exhaled in relief and stretched my arms high. "Yo, you're in early, Steven. Weren't you the last one to leave yesterday too?" A few colleagues showed up slightly ahead of the official start time. There's kind of a story behind that. "Dude, you look awful this morning." Karen still hadn't arrived. Not that it was surprising. She almost never showed up before the workday officially started. "Listen, guys. The truth is, I told them everything that had happened the night before." One by one, my coworkers expressed their shock. "That's insane. Unbelievable." Ever since Karen took over, our work had just kept piling up. Not only was she avoiding her own responsibilities, but she was actively getting in the way of ours. Sure, we might not be the most impressive-looking guys, but mocking us for things outside of work. Wasn't that crossing the line into moral and power harassment? At this point, there was only one thing to do: bring it directly to our president, Mr. Yates, and have a proper conversation. When I made up my mind to confront him, my coworkers said they'd come with me. "Don't worry, Steven. Everyone in the company knows how skilled you are. If we all go together, Mr. Yates will have to listen." I didn't have the courage to go alone. But if everyone was with me, we decided to visit Mr. Yates's office first thing in the morning. "Excuse us. What is it with you people? What business do you have in the president's office this early?" As we stepped inside, I couldn't believe my eyes. Next to Mr. Yates was Karen, who hadn't even shown up at the office yet that morning. And there she was, sitting on the edge of his desk with her legs crossed, staring straight at us. "So these are the guys from your team you were talking about?" "Yes, Mr. Yates. I'm sorry to subject you to these unkempt, unpleasant men so early in the morning. Honestly, they're completely useless." "I see. Showing up in a big group like this first thing in the morning. Just like you said, they don't seem to understand common sense. No wonder you're having a hard time." Karen. Mr. Yates, standing by the window with a cup of coffee, nodded in agreement with Karen. "So tell me, what brings all of you here so early?" "Well," I hesitated, overwhelmed by the hostile atmosphere. But Robert stepped up to help. "Yesterday, Stephen was staying late to finish up some work, and Karen came in and just pulled the plug on his computer. We thought that was completely out of line, so we came to hear your opinion." "If it's about that, I've already heard Karen's side. She told me, you all tend to slack off during regular hours and purposely delay your work to earn overtime pay. Your department racks up more overtime than any other." I was speechless. It was clear Mr. Yates was completely on Karen's side. I was told this department was full of top talent, so I had high hopes. But I've been really disappointed. They drag out their work to earn overtime, and when I try to correct them, they just talk back. Karen tapped her perfectly manicured nails against the desk as she spoke to Mr. Yates in a sweet, syrupy voice. It was a complete 180 from the way she acted when she was with us. "Starting today, no one is allowed to work overtime without Karen's approval. Now get back to work." Mr. Yates gave us a little shooing gesture with his hand. It was as if we were being thrown out. Defeated, we left the president's office in silence. After learning about the connection between Mr. Yates and Karen, the mood in our department turned toxic. As if the work delays caused by Karen weren't bad enough, now even the essential overtime we needed was banned. She began interfering with critical tasks that had to be completed after hours. On top of that, miscellaneous tasks that used to be handled by other departments somehow started being dumped on us. Everyone was exhausted. What used to be a lively, collaborative workplace had become a silent, cold space where no one exchanged technical ideas or even casual conversation. Only the dull clacking of keyboards echoed through the floor. It felt like we were being watched by Karen at all times, and no one dared speak. If anything went wrong, Karen would report it to Mr. Yates in the worst possible light, and we'd get scolded. Who would want to work in a place like this? More and more people started calling in sick. With all the tension in the air, people became so anxious that mistakes increased. And every time someone slipped up, Karen would lash out, making things even worse. It was a vicious cycle. Why didn't you finish that project due yesterday? I'm sorry. There was a problem, and I couldn't finish it within work hours. A problem? And why do you think that happened? Because you made a mistake, right? Well, it's just that. If you were doing your job properly, there wouldn't be any problems. Don't try to make excuses by calling it a trouble, and then using that as an excuse to earn more overtime pay. It's pathetic. Her shrill voice echoed through the department first thing in the morning. This time it was Robert getting yelled at. Just hearing her voice made my stomach turn. Thanks to you, we're getting flooded with calls and complaints from the client. Why am I the one cleaning up your mess? You have 1 hour to fix this. That's unreasonable. What? Don't you dare tell me you can't do it. Are you that incompetent? Karen, that's going too far. Karen's behavior was so outrageously unfair that I couldn't hold back. I had to step in. Robert did everything he could the moment the problem occurred. Yesterday, when he realized he wouldn't be able to finish within work hours, he submitted an overtime request. You're the one who denied it and told him to shut everything down and go home. If we're not even allowed necessary overtime, what are we supposed to do? Karen shot me a cold glare. The vein bulged at her temple. Oh, so now you're saying I'm the one at fault? A useless preloader like you thinks you can talk back to me? I'm just asking that you approve essential overtime. Robert was really worried about the client last night. That entire complaint and inquiry mess could have been avoided if you just approved the overtime. My, you've gotten awfully bold. You think you can question me? I don't mean to question you. It's just, what you're saying feels incredibly unfair. You're fired. What? Karen spoke with a bored sigh. I don't need garbage who won't obey me. You're out. Karen, this is outrageous. Robert tried to protest, but Karen wasn't listening. I never liked you from the beginning. Some unimpressive nobody trying to defy me? You've got guts. Let me make this clear. You're my subordinate. You're nothing but a slave who does what I say. What? There are plenty of replacements out there. You're not worth the paycheck. Pack up your things and erase any trace of yourself from this office. Karen really was out of control. That's enough. I'm done. Understood. Completely drained of the will to argue, I simply replied and returned to my desk. It was hard thinking about leaving a workplace where I had once worked so happily with everyone. But with a boss like this, I couldn't keep going. I grabbed a cardboard box and started clearing out my desk. Just then, Robert came rushing over, finally free from Karen's tirade. Stephen, I'm so sorry. I never thought she'd fire you because of me. That firing was completely unjust. What the hell is wrong with her? I've thought it for a while. She treats us like garbage. Maybe now that she'd gotten it out of her system. Karen had left her desk. Other coworkers began gathering around me. Don't worry about it, Robert. Honestly, I've been thinking about quitting sooner or later anyway. It's fine. But still, actually, there's something I'd like to ask you guys. I wasn't the kind of person to just walk away from my responsibilities. I explained the projects I was working on, and my coworkers said they'd do what they could to take over. The next day, for the first time in a while, I woke up feeling refreshed and headed to a trendy cafe that morning to meet up with an old friend from high school. It's been a while, Stephen. Yeah, I've been so busy lately. I couldn't even make it to the reunion. How's work? Are things going well? Well, actually, I chuckled dryly, lifting my coffee. Just thinking about yesterday made me give a hollow laugh. I was still searching for the right words to explain when my phone suddenly started ringing. I gave my friend a quick signal and stepped outside. Hello, Stephen. What the hell did you do to our company's computers? Mr. Yates's furious voice blasted through the phone the moment I picked up. Every computer in the office is malfunctioning. I heard the security system you built isn't working. What the hell is going on? Fix it now. With all due respect, Mr. Yates, Karen told me to leave the company yesterday. So the restoration of the security system is no longer my responsibility. What did you say? Are you saying you won't take responsibility for something you built? I did take responsibility. For the past few days, I submitted overtime requests because there were signs someone was attempting to hack our system. If the system isn't running now and the computers are acting up, that likely means we've been hacked. Our company handles sensitive information for many clients. The financial damage could be massive. In that case, all the more reason for you to come back and fix it right away. Karen has a habit of making snap decisions. I'm sure when she told you to quit, it was just a figure of speech. Anyway, please come back and take care of it. Oh, and I'll increase your bonus once this is resolved. I'll even guarantee you a promotion. Understood. I'll head over now. I ended the call, explained the situation to my friend, and made my way back to the office. When I arrived, Mr. Yates himself came out to greet me. Karen stood quietly next to him, looking unusually humble. To my surprise, she even poured me a cup of tea, something she would never normally do, and handed it to me. Glad you finally made it. Sorry about yesterday. I was just a little irritated, that's all. So, how long will it take to get the system back online? We'll get you anything you need, so don't hesitate to ask. Their complete change in tone caught me off guard. I didn't come back to restore the system. I came to officially decline your offer. No matter how good the conditions, I can't forgive the way I've been treated. Please consider this conversation over. I looked both of them in the eye as I spoke. What? You think you can act all high and mighty just because we're being polite? A useless man is still useless. I'll return those words right back to you, Karen. When there's trouble with a subordinate's work, it's the manager's job to handle it. I'd say it's only appropriate that you take care of this yourself. Karen's eyes darted around, clearly flustered. That's ridiculous. There's no way I could do that. I'm just supposed to sit in the chair and look good. Everyone else is supposed to handle things for me. Why should I have to do anything? If you had just followed my instructions, this never would have happened. I see now. She's someone who's gotten by in life being pampered by the people around her. No doubt she's beautiful. I'm sure there are plenty of guys out there who would do anything for her if she just asked. She's lived her whole life, leaving the actual work to others. Ahem. Anyway, could you please just restore the security system? This incident has already made it onto national television. Yates glanced at the large TV mounted on the wall. On the screen, bold letters read, "Major cyber attack. Massive damage hits leading domestic corporation. Clients are flooding us with calls. If this continues, the financial losses will be enormous. And if you refuse to restore it, we'll have no choice but to hold you personally responsible for the damage. This isn't just about our company. You've caused harm to our entire corporate group." Exactly. You've impacted every company in the group. There's no way you could ever repay the damage you've caused. Fixing the system is in your best interest. Hearing those threats, I let out a long, deep sigh. These people are rotten to the core. All right then. I opened the laptop I had brought with me and ran the program I had prepared in advance. Good. Now we can finally breathe. But just so you know, once this is fixed, I'm going to sue you. You better be ready for that. Even then, Mr. Yates was still barking threats at me. But I didn't care anymore. My laptop began playing a video. How many times do I have to say it? Do you even have a brain, you worthless trash? A useless freeloader like you thinks you can talk back to me? We don't need incompetent losers who make excuses. Anyone who doesn't obey me is fired. This place is full of garbage, smelly, filthy, and not even worth being alive. As the screen filled with footage of Karen shouting abusive remarks at employees, she grew visibly shaken and clenched her fists. What is this? What do you mean? These are just the things you've said to us. Just a moment later, the same footage appeared on the TV news, introduced by the anchor. This just in, newly obtained footage. Karen, she's on TV. What the hell? Where did they get this footage? This is outrageous. Stop this nonsense. You're supposed to be restoring the system. What are you doing? You think you can get away with this? I never once thought I could get away with it, Mr. Yates. When I hit the enter key, The video switched to the next clip. This time, it showed a scene inside the president's office with Mr. Yates and Karen looking quite cozy together. So, Mr. Yates, have you thought about that thing we discussed? Ah, of course. I managed to move some company funds around. So I've arranged for a luxury imported car as a birthday present for you. I'm so happy. Just make sure no one finds out about us. Of course, Mr. Yates. Both of them stared at the footage, faces pale, knees trembling. What is the meaning of this? That same video began airing on television. Why are we on TV? What is going on? Where did this footage come from? Damn it. Mr. Yates and Karen looked completely lost, staring into the void in confusion. Just then, the door to the president's office swung open and my coworkers stepped inside. What are you doing here? It's incredibly rude to just barge into the president's office. Rude? Really? Coming from you, Mr. Yates? You embezzle company funds and call us garbage? What do you think employees are to you? So it was you. You're the ones who released that footage. That's all fake. Fabricated. We'll sue you for this. It's not fabricated. You do know the company is full of security cameras, right? We're programming experts. It's child's play for us to access those videos. Robert gave me a discreet thumbs up. I gave him one in return. Operation success. You're all fired. Every last one of you. That was the plan all along. We have no interest in working for a company that survives on our systems, but disrespects its engineers. With a unified goodbye, my coworkers turned and left the office. I packed up my laptop and followed them. Oh, and one more thing, Mr. Yates. I turned back and said, you really shouldn't underestimate tech professionals.